Gentlemen, it is Tuesday, and we are really, really, really late. I don't expect anybody to jump on tonight because we're so late, but it has been a long day of travel with lots of problems, but we're home, and I guess that's what's important. So, but yeah, welcome. It's been too long since I've been live. My wife thought I was crazy coming straight, walking in the door, going downstairs, and firing up a live stream. So, but it is what it is. So we'll see. It looks like I'm pretty choppy. How's the audio? Check 1, 2. So the few of you who are in the chat, Chris and Slutcar Dojo, what's up? Hey, Daryl. Yeah, I worked on my tan a little bit. How bad is how choppy is the video? Let me know in the chat because it looks pretty choppy on my end, but maybe it'll clear up. We'll see. Slotcart Hub, what's up? Hey, Daryl. Hey, John Mark. We are home. Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy day. Hey, Joshua. Yeah, I'm on late, man. I've been traveling all day and had a few issues, lost luggage, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's been quite the day. Hey, B2. Hey, Shotgun Dave. What's up? Hey, Dusty. Good to have you. Looks okay. All good. Hey, George. So it looks good on your end. Man, it looks choppy on my end. My CPU is just pegged at the moment, and I'm not sure what's going on. But as long as it's good on your end, we'll keep going. Thanks, appreciate that. I've got a little bit of a tan. Good. I'm glad it seems fine. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, man. We fly Frontier a lot because our kids live live north of Denver, and so we fly Frontier. So we basically flew through Denver, and my wife's checked a bag, and it never made it to the plane. It's still sitting in Denver on the tarmac, like it was sitting outside. No one picked it up. They pulled it off the plane and set it there, and it never made it to our Columbus flight. So, yes. B2? Probably. I'm tired. So, hey, Chris. There, I think I may have said hello, Chris, twice. But guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll do some slot car talk tonight. Mainly because I feel like I've been out of it for almost 2 weeks. When I missed the live stream last week, it's been a crazy couple weeks, but we'll settle back to work tomorrow. But it's been fun. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. You send cars in. I need to thank George. Opinion cracked on my land barge, and I have to give credit where credit is due. He took my car apart, put a new pinion gear on it, and then checked the tires and did some things to the land barge that probably made it run so much better on that track. So I have to give George some credit. I think he helped me out. I know he helped me out, and I appreciate it. But I think the car was already fast. I think it had some front end issues. I think that the chassis, that design, it does have some twist to it. I basically took a piece of 3/32 um, piano wire and made that that rear half of the chassis. And every time I put it on the setup block, a different tire was sitting up off the ground, and so it caused some problems. But I don't know. I think it performed once it was set up right. It performed really, really well. So I'm super fortunate. I think the best compliment I got was in that inside lane. Shotgun Dave was flying on the inner lane. Is that the green lane on Harry's track, I think? And man, that car was like locked in, super smooth, and handled that. It had enough roll that it just rolled through that turn nice, and you could just jump back in the gas. So shout out to George and Shotgun Dave. They really put a bunch of laps in. I think on the outer was kind of tough for the car. It definitely was tuned for the shorter inner lanes. That outer lane, I'm not sure it was quite as fast in, but man, it's been fun. But I figured we would talk about that. Yeah, I know you did, George, and we appreciate it. That's what was great. So if anybody hasn't gone out, Tad dropped a video on his Instagram today, and I got to listen to it in between flights. Hey, Doug, welcome. Doug, I'm late enough that it's early enough in the morning for you. Is that right? And you're going to be heading to California to Electric Dreams to race. That's awesome. I was just trying to get out of California today. We were in La Jolla Beach area. We went to a wedding. My daughter's roommate all through college, and even actually 3 or 4 years after college, got married, and we got to hang out with her family and friends, and it was a whole event, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. First time that we got to spend some time in San Diego area, and traffic is crazy, like just crazy. But it's all good. So what else do we have? So Chris, I see John Albright. You did the hard part. You had a good mechanic in the pits. Good job. That's right. But I saw that they shipped everything back, and I saw some people were getting their cars today back. That's cool. So I'll go over the car once it's back and go over. I was super proud of the Jake Dyke Special. Did a little bit of a retune on that. I felt like the car was set up pretty good. But man, putting the 17.5 motor, swapping out the 18K for the 17.5 long can, I had to modify the chassis a little bit so that it would fit. That was easy. Just made sure the front end was set up. That car is super, super smooth. And dang, that motor woke that car up. And so I'm probably more proud of the 4th place finish in the showdown, the 1/32 scale showdown, because that car really, really came alive with that motor. And in the next race, it's we have the opportunity to jump on the 20.5, which is in the land barges, and that's a fast motor. That thing is super smooth. I think Shotgun Dave even mentioned it. It's a little light on brakes. But yeah, thanks, John. Back in Ohio, I saw your message earlier. Yeah, I'm not in the Diego area, but we ate good. We got to try lots of new places. That was fun. Yeah, Doug, it was fun. And I think that was part of the thing. Going back to Tad, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired. I'm all over the place. Tad dropped a video on his Instagram, and he just talked about just go out there and do it. A lot of people are intimidated by scratch building. And I think the biggest thing is the investment of like the tools. You need a good soldering iron. And some people, it's a struggle to jump in on the soldering iron. But I mean, I posted a video. There's some soldering iron out there that work great. $50 can get you a great soldering station off of Amazon that will work just great. And then Slot Corner, working with Harry and the guys, have come up with the kits. And like that really simplifies everything. Everything you need comes in that kit. So except for the body. So you just need to track down a 1/32 scale body or a 1/25 scale model body that you want to use. And I mean, it's that simple. And I know that's intimidating, but the Jake Dyke Special was a kit chassis built exactly like Shotgun Dave and Harry and George all put videos out about how to build that chassis kit. And I copied that exactly, and that car finished 4th. So that tells you that like that simple chassis design, you don't have to get super fancy. The kit can make a car that can compete. And I think what Tad was saying today in his video was, I just thought it was so well done. That just, if you're intimidated, that's okay. You're going to make some mistakes. I mean, I would be embarrassed if the guys opened up my car and showed it on camera, because my soldering job is awful. Not until the end of that second build, that land barge build, did I get it figured out, right? And so, instead of resoldering, Michael Squire basically told me, he's like, don't start over. Just, it's okay. Finish that kit and go on to the next build and do the next build better. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. But it doesn't mean that my next build will finish 4th place. I think that sometimes you get a little lucky, and I think sometimes you can build a good car. I mean, there are some trick chassis out there that really perform great, right? But I think the biggest change for me was having a little test track, even though it was plastic. It was a Carrera, and it was an R1 turns. That little test track was enough to help me understand how I thought my car would perform sending it out to Harry's track. Okay, George said Harry was in yellow, the outside, Strange Brew in red, Dave was in blue, and George, you were in green. Very good. That's awesome. Yeah, you were flying in that internal inside. So what else? Yeah, Dusty says, congratulations to everyone who sent cars. Big thanks to Harry, George, and Dave for all you did for us. Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. I mean, there is not a better feeling of tuning in. I was on vacation, and my wife just kept saying, what are you doing over there on your phone? And I'm like, I'm watching the proxy race. Leave me alone. It was, when they put your car, you have a proud moment, right? The car made it to the track, and then it made some laps. And, by the time we got to the end, it didn't really care what place it finished. It was just fun being a part of that whole thing. It was worth it. Yeah, I'm still choppy here, guys. So if it gets too bad, let me know. But yeah, thanks to those guys. What we found out is with all of those cars, it was a long week for those guys. They really, yeah, he did. Yeah, I was super proud of it, man. I went back and watched it a couple times. I was like, oh yeah, that car was screaming. George had it flying around the track. But I think it was so well done. The live stream was so good. George, you did a great job. Well done on setting up the live streams. It was just it was very entertaining. And Tad mentioned, like, everyone was so encouraging. Like, I think I enjoyed the conversation in the live chat during the live stream as much as I did building the car. Just the fact that I had a car in the field and having that conversation with everybody. And then your car was running and everybody's going, great job. Look at the car. it was just, that was so much fun. And, you know, I know that maybe it's not for everyone, scratch building, but I think maybe just people should give it a try and build one of the kits. They've made it really easy, and we've got 6 months till the next showdown. And hopefully sometime this week they will announce what that next showdown is going to be. And you've got plenty of time. And there's lots of people out here that can help. I know, I wore George and Shotgun Dave and even Harry. I wore them out with questions, and they really the next 125th series will be even better. That's what George says. So that's pretty exciting. There we go. I'm getting some major lag. Oh, Doug, brother, you're up late, man. Hi, Kim Davis. Good evening. Fred Moon says it's his lucky night. Thought I would watch the recorded broadcast, but here you are. Fred, I was in the airport all day, and traveling was good. Hey, Alan, next time, buddy, you need to get a car in there, because we all know you can build a good car. Oh, there we go. So Dusty asked, what will the next class be? And George says that it will be announced tomorrow. The brakes on the long can work better on the 132nd scale cars. Yeah, I can see that. The barges are just so heavy. When you talk about something that's 200 grams or more. Yeah. Hey, Bryce. Yep, still going strong, man. We're trying. I'm really late tonight though, Bryce. That's why you're catching us. Doug, we will be rooting for you, brother. Go get them. I have a question though. What car are you going to run? Are you tuning it, or is somebody out there going to help you out? Because those guys really know how to tune for that track. I think that hopefully you get some help from Marco, or you get some help from Rick Jockum or Jim Rose, or one of those guys out there that really know their stuff on that track. But yeah, we get it. Just aim for the middle of the pack. That was my hope. That I think that I went in, this being my second time around, I had a little better understanding of like how a car needed to be set up for the track. But again, it wasn't perfect. But you know, George bailed me out a little bit. But yeah, that, I think having the test track really did help a little bit. KR Bridges, Marty, I finished one lap behind you in the land barge race. Your Ford was faster than my Ford. KR, I think there was a bunch of us that were right there, real close, but great build. Yeah, I'm glad you were a part of it. That was so much fun. Hey, Doug, welcome. Good to have you. Good night, brother. See you, Dust. Yeah, hope everybody has a great week. Well, George, it was obvious that you guys were having a lot of fun. You had you put in a lot. I would like to know how many laps you ended up putting in over the week's time, because you put in a bunch, man. Chris has got his soldering station. That's awesome. Shotgun Dave says it's all about the fun. I would agree. Like, it was obvious that you guys enjoyed racing the cars. It was obvious that those who built a car and sent it in enjoyed watching you race the cars. I know that I did. I looked forward to every live stream and kept tuning in to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I missed just about all of them. I came in late. I'm not sure that I ever did get to see my car run live. Dusty would text me. He's like, "Hey man, they're running your car." I'm like, dang it. Greg, great job with your cars. January 18th, race starts. Mail-in deadline will be January 16th. Car needs to be at the track. And the reason why the car needs to be at the track 2 days before they race them is because George and Harry and any of the guys that they're racing, Mark Donahue, Strange Brew, Dennis, I think those guys go through all the cars to make sure that there's nothing wrong. Like they discovered that my pinion was cracked. Probably ran a few laps, and then all of a sudden it didn't run very well, and so they tore it open to see, figure it out, and it was a cracked pinion. So those things happen. Crazy that it was a brass pinion that cracked, but John Albright and I were talking. When I put that pinion on, it felt really, really tight, and maybe I damaged it putting it on. I did put it on right before I got my new puller and my new pinion press. So maybe I did damage that. So let's see. I can't think of a better slot car collection than scratch build cars from your friends. So build some and trade them and get a cool collection. Fred, that's actually a great idea. I've seen it here. We know that the Three Amigos guys have shared cars around, built cars for each other. And then we've seen Michael Squire and Tad and some of these other guys that are kind of like the next level builders that have been involved for a year or two now. This was their third or fourth showdown. Those guys have built cars and sent them in, and those are special. You get a hand-built car. Not that, somebody sending you a car isn't special. I've got a handful of cars that people have sent me, and they mean a lot. I take really good care of those cars. They're not shelf queens. They do get lapsed, but I do know that they were gifts and that I take special care of them. But, I do have some plans. I'd like to build a few cars, and, it'd be cool to see somebody run a car that I built on their channel. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. So, Greg, great job with your cars, man. You did an awesome job. Shotgun Dave, you did a fantastic job racing and building cars. You and George both. DW Barker, I'm always late, just able to join in. Great event. Though I hoped for better. Look forward to info tomorrow. Yeah, so I think that, here's the thing. It's hard to tune a car on a track that you've never run laps on. You really have no expectation. And if you don't have a test track at home, it really didn't help me much testing the car. It told me that the car would get around the track, but running an oval is way different than running a road course. And so, I really didn't have a lot of information, data coming from this track to tell me just how good my car would be. So yeah, don't feel bad about it. Next time you've learned something. You've built a car, which is more than a lot of people can say. And then now you take what you learned from this first car and make your next build better, right? You have a better idea of, okay, this is how my car's set up, and maybe it didn't run so well. This is a car that I set up and it did run really good. So now your next build, you take that information that you learned and you go up a level, right? But it doesn't mean that you have to get fancy with the chassis, because I think that in the 132nd showdown, I finished fourth in that, and that is a kit chassis. And I think that's probably why I'm so proud of that, is that that thing. There's nothing trick about it. It was just the kit chassis and getting the tires right. I think the tires are 90% of it. Anyway, if you can get your tires trued right and good and making great contact and get the front end set up well, I will say this. I really like the slot invasion guide on Harry's track. It does really, really well on that track, I felt like. So, hey, Timothy Wood, what's the name of the chassis that you scratch build for 1/32 scales? Thanks. So, Timothy, that is a kit. It's a 1/32 scale, and that chassis is just the standard kit chassis from Slot Car Corner. And if you go out and you look at George Area 51, his channel, and Home Racing World, the forum, there's a whole thing about scratch building chassis, and it's just the base level chassis. It's 2 square pieces of brass with the tongue, the guide tongue, and the motor bracket in between. And as long as you get those things square, you should have a great running car. It's really simple. But buying the kit is really the easiest way to get there. A lot of laps, not including the race. Right. Oh, I know. You guys did a lot of testing and tuning. Hey, Mad P, welcome. Welcome. Oh, I meant 124, the 125th scale. Okay. So this last one was the land barge, and that was the old NASCAR type cars. They've done the Street Rod Nationals in the 125th scale as well, which was like just make a car that was like a show car that you would see at a car show, at your local car show. And then tomorrow, it looks like they're going to announce what next showdown's going to be, Tim. So, yeah. Tim, let's see here. Let me see if I can get that up. Thanks. So here's the thing about that paint. And I didn't even think about it until Harry mentioned it, that he had problems seeing that car on that track because it's painted the exact same color as the track. He said my car was like camouflage. All he saw was numbers running around. But yeah, I was really pleased with how it turned out. I felt like it looked like a car from that era. I probably could have jumped in with a lot more detail, but I was really worried about it performing well. So I didn't do quite as much on the modeling. So my next project is to level up my modeling. So yeah, George just posted that's great. Thanks, George. Yeah, the bore may have been off. Wasn't quite straight when starting the press. It's possible, John. It is. And who knows what kind of weather it went through getting there. I don't know. If it hit an airplane and got up to altitude and got cold and there was a hairline fracture and then it got. Greg, for clarity. Oh, oh that's great. Sorry, Greg. Well, maybe the next time you need to be, right? Without a test track, you can be flying with blinders on, trying to nail the tune. Yeah, I agree. The test track really was a game changer for us. I think it got us a little better than maybe we would have been if we didn't have it. The one thing I did have how the Jake Dyke Special ran the first time. It kind of ran in the middle of the pack. And so I knew, like, when I look at it on my regular track, I kind of had an idea of how fast it was and what I needed to do to improve it. And so I did have some data that from the previous race that helped. Hey, Eric, what's up? Welcome. Let's see here. I agree, Marty. Like they say, it's fun, and the association with everyone here makes it. I did do a track teardown rebuild with a road and slide out oval track. Nice. So that will help you the next time around, right? That oval will definitely help you. Yeah, Dave. Harry had hinted around about that in the live stream in one of them, that they were really going to focus on the modeling. I may have to have a sponsor Metamucil sprint race for next year after seeing all the food. That's right. That's great. So I had a lot of time to think on the plane today, and I love what Home Racing World is doing with these proxies. One, I like that the rules are pretty simple and straightforward. I think that's the key. There's a bunch of proxies out there that I've thought about building cars for, and when I got down to it, it's like, holy cow, there's so many rules and regulations and tech specs that you have to really follow, and I don't know. That didn't seem like it was that much fun to me. I thought it could be simpler. Although Rob, up in Canada, he posted some live streams of their proxy, and it's a lot of fun to watch. He has a great home track, so I thought it would be fun to build a car, because some of the guys that build for Home Racing World build for his proxies too. So I thought that would be fun, but it did make me think about doing my own proxy. But I wouldn't want to copy what Home Racing World's doing, what Harry's doing. I wouldn't want to take away from that. So I wouldn't like say, hey, we're going to run land barges, because it doesn't really make sense on my layout the way it is right now. And those cars are set up for an oval. They're not really set up for a road course. But it would be fun to put together a proxy and run it like that. I think I have enough guys that are good drivers around here, Dusty and John Mark and me, and we've got 4 lanes. Daryl could come up, Greg could come up, Josh could come over, Bernie. I've got Steve Holzman. There's all kinds of guys that we race with that would be great to run through a proxy race with. I think that it would be fun to come up with something different. A lot of people have done the Legends proxies. So it might be fun to do a Legends race proxy on this track. That would work really well. It wouldn't have to be an oval. It could be a road course. Revo Slot Group 2 stand out to me. They're fun cars on this track. Mostly because they're not the fastest cars, but on this layout, like, they are a blast to run. And I think that would be fun. And then just keep it simple. It's like, all right, you've got to run the stock guide, or maybe that's something you can run whatever guide you want. But maybe we pick a motor that's, but if it's a Revo slot, I mean, the motors that come with the Revo slots are great. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but I think it would be fun to do a 2 lines proxy. It would be fun to put it in between the Home Racing World so that there's no conflict. I would not want to interrupt what's going on there. But it could be a scratch build. Maybe we do a 1/32 scale, use a body from any, like I could say, use an NSR body or but make a brass chassis for it, and then see what guys do to run on a road course. That might be fun. I don't know. If you guys have some ideas, throw them in the chat. Yeah, I really think that, George, I think that I would want some type of, I think I would want to continue the scratch building piece, because I think that would be fun. I think that a 1/32 scale Can-Am car, and so you could use any Can-Am body off of an NSR Thunder slot, but not use their chassis. Take the body and do a brass chassis for them. And I think it would be fun to see what people come up with. But the only problem I have with that is I've run on a plastic track, and I think that the brass stuff works really well on wood tracks. I could always, we run silicone on this, but for the proxy, I could say you can run rubber, you can run urethanes. We could pick whatever we wanted, right? So it wouldn't have to be. But I think it would be cool to have some type of build aspect to it, because I think that's part of the fun. I think that's part of the fun. Let's see here. George, I have thought about that. I have thought about using your favorite fly body and scratch build a chassis for it. And I think that would be fun. That would be fun. Actually, that's probably even better than, because Thunder Slots and NSRs, they don't really need to rebuild a chassis. But fly cars, you could definitely improve probably going to a brass chassis. Actually, George, that is a great idea. We could do, Shotgun Dave, we could do a Can-Am fly, Can-Am proxy with scratch build chassis running on this track. So I'll start working on some, look at a date and time frame, so people have time to build a car, and then look at that's sounding good. Eric, the Legends idea, the Legends wouldn't be bad. Now, it wouldn't have to be scratch build with the Legends. That would just be a fun class. Chris says a Revo proxy. George has a good idea with the fly proxy. I agree. Yeah, KR, the Revo slots, the Group 2s, the Datsuns. That would be a fun class. The thing about the Revo slot, though, is there's not a lot from a tuning standpoint. Like, most everybody does the same thing to those cars, but you would talk about super close racing action, and that's what would be a lot of fun. Yeah, you could do that and just use silicone tires. Yeah, we could just say, here's the spec tire. The fly proxy, Dave? Yeah, you could. If you did the Revo slots, you could. There's a lot of white kits available from Revo Slot. I will say, give them credit. They do a great job. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, it happens. I was going through all these things. We haven't really mentioned anything that I didn't think about on the plane. I did think about the fly class. It was, since the fly has been the big joke, that Daryl was trying to teach me how to tune cars, so he sends me a fly car to tune. But I've learned a lot tuning those cars. But I mean, when you think about them, the bodies are so great. I mean, come on, this car right here. God, it's just such a great looking car. And I think that I could build a brass chassis that would improve the performance of this car. I think I could. I think it'd be fun. So, man, maybe that's what I'm leaning towards. We could do 2 classes. We could do scratch build fly and Revo Slot Group 2. So then that would include people who are not super comfortable with scratch building, right? That would give them a class to work towards. Fly body with brass chassis. Yep. Yeah, keep the rules simple. They would have to be, because I don't want to sit and have to tech cars and say, oh, you are a millimeter off. I don't want that. I want people to have fun. And if somebody knows how to build a fast car, they send it in and it wins, we're going to tear that thing apart, take a look at it, share it on the channel, right? No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't have to. But if we had permission, that would be cool. And then we could help others build fast cars. But yeah, or I could bring the winner onto my live stream and tell them, have them explain what's going on and how they got the car fast. But yeah, I think that would be fun. And the reason is, like, we've got this great community that we're continue to build on all the time. New people are jumping in all the time. We have a lot of fun. We have great conversation. And then I saw that spill over into the Home Racing World Proxy and how much fun people had. And, it continued the community conversation. People got to, enjoy what other people were building, watching them run laps. And I just think that would be fun to do something else. I mean, George is running, I think he's going to do the midget proxy again at his track. I think that's awesome. I think it'll be fun. The other thing we could do is we could run a mini race on the test track. So run the main proxy here and then take them back and run quick races on the test oval and see how they do on the test oval. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I'm about to wrap up too. So we'll probably stop this thing at about an hour. So Jeff G, my soldering iron is on and ready. Just let us know. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff, great job on your builds, man. Yeah. Oh, I totally agree, George. Kits would help a lot with that kind of proxy. Rules could be slot card, chassis kit, or your own fly bodies for your class that you decide. Yeah. Well, I think that those kits just make it so easy, George. And it would, the only thing that you'd have to change is the tires, maybe the wheels and tires on that kit to make it work with a fly car, right? Because you don't have a ton of room underneath these cars. So we would have to figure out what the wheel and tire spec would be so people would know. But, especially if somebody was like their first try at building, they could definitely get the kit. Could even use wheels and tires off of, other cars that they have, like NSR or Thunderslot or something like that. Right? We could make those work. Because I would definitely want to keep things simple. So George, you are doing your proxy in December. And that is the midget kit, the Mid-American midget kit, correct? Because I got to get one ordered so I can get building on it. Because I want to send one in for that. So that's cool. So we would just have to stay away from Home Racing World. We know will be in January. George's will be in December. I don't know if I went November, I'm going to have to look at my calendar. November would just give us a short period of time to build something. But hey, Brandon. Yep. It's the late show tonight. Oh, the Mid-America or the Atlantis kit. Gotcha. Yeah. So I think that would be, I wouldn't want to bump into other, I know that you're always going to bump into somebody, right? But I definitely would want to stay away from Home Racing World proxies, George's proxy. They've already been on the calendar for a while. In our annual, hey, John Tucci. John Tucci, great job on your builds this past weekend. It was fun to watch these cars go around. And what everybody came up with. And, man, such creative people. Gosh, there's a bunch of creative people out there. In chassis design, in their modeling. And that's one thing that I've got to get better at is my modeling. I think what happens is I struggle making a decision on what I want to. I know once I go down the road, I'm stuck with the design, right? And so I kind of wait to the last minute and have to do all my modeling in a rush. And so I'm going to jump on. I'm going to jump on it earlier. Thomas Sanders, February after the Super Bowl. We could tie it in with the Super Bowl. I think that, Thomas, that might be a really good time frame. So then that would give everybody the winter when they're back in like full, slot car, full force slot cars, right? In the winter, we know everybody's in. I think Thomas, that's a great idea. George Brandon has got a question. Atlantis is a new modeling company. I don't know that they're a new modeling company, but they are actually doing a lot of. They bought some molds, and I think that they're repressing some older model kits. So, but I don't think they're a new company. I just think that they've gone out and bought some old other companies' molds and are making some model kits. So yeah, we could either. Yeah, February seems like it's so far off, but I mean, honestly, it's really not that far off, is it? All right, I'll start thinking about that. I'm really, yeah, the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning. I think that would be fun. Yeah, they do have some 1/32 scale cars. Boy, what we need is a company to jump on the 1/32 scale and create a bunch of different model kits for us, so we'd have more choices when it came to 1/32 scale. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Outside of what happened with Home Racing World, I don't know that there was a lot of slot car news. Being on vacation, Thomas says his local hobby town has some in stock. Our Hobby Lobby has a lot of 1/25 scale stuff, no 1/32 scale, but they have a lot of choices when it comes to 1/25 scale. Jeff D says, "Old model, you don't look too old." Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. Oh, Doug, yep. There was some really, really good modeling going on that proxy. Some of these guys are great at painting. That's something I got to get better at. I am awful at painting, but I felt like the gray went down really well on my model kit. Was the clear coat. I used the old floor polish clear coat trick, and it didn't come out as smooth as I would wanted it to. So I think in the end, my paint job didn't look quite as good as it actually went on the body. Ooh, Kim is looking for a link to the kit for George's. I don't know if you have that handy, George. You can get that kit from a few different places. Let's see here. See if I can find it. See if I can find it. Well, there we go. Mid-America. Yeah, Thomas, I think that's actually a great plan. So let's see if we can find this, Kim, for you. Atlantis model Kits. Well, you can buy them direct from Atlantis at atlantis-models.com. Wow, my internet is being really, really slow. It's either that or it's my computer that's being really slow. Let's see here. I need to find George's link to Home Racing World. Proxies. Well, maybe. Wow, my internet is something's wrong. Oh, there we go. Shotgun Dave just posted a link to the kit on eBay. George says hobby link. George, can you post? They're all over eBay for under $20. Very good. And then that's all right, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. George, do you have a link to your proxy? For some reason, I can't get Home Racing World to come up. Home Racing World Forum. There you go. There's a link to the Midget Racer kit. That should take you to what kit you need. That's great. The Red Ryder BB gun. All right, so where's George's proxy? Let's see here. Yeah, so Rob up in Canada at Mid BC Raceway is doing a Revo Slot Group 2 proxy right now. Dave, tonight's topic is we're talking about doing a 2 lines proxy race. And so looking at maybe doing a Revo Slot Group 2 proxy and then a classic fly Can-Am scratch build proxy where you use a fly body and build a brass chassis for it. And so we're looking at some ideas and some things that we might be able to do. But right now we're talking about George and his proxy. And that would be discussion. Pioneer, Le Mans, IPS, Can-Am. They call you Guru Dave on the track. Nice. Oh, there it is. Thanks, George. So it's the Midget Madness. And that'll give you all, Kim, that will give you all the information you need about George's proxy, when it is, when the cars have to be sent by, the rules, everything. It's awesome. Thanks, George. Thanks for putting that out there. Yeah, so Dave, you're just in time. We were really, really late tonight because I didn't get home until almost 10:30 from the airport. Been traveling all week. Quickest links in the West. Yeah, Dave, the Revo Group 2 is such a fun class at our local track, Cincy Slots, where we run. We had a blast this past winter, but I'm thinking about my track is a great track for that car. Because my track's not super long. It's only about 60 feet in lane length, but it's a 4-lane. And I think that they're just a blast to run on this track. And they're super, super competitive. Hey, Josh Reed, welcome. Are you coming to the NSR Nationals prep race on Saturday? Josh, I am hoping to. I've come home to quite a few things from vacation that I've got to work on here at the house. But I would really, I'm planning to come on Saturday. Greg, our buddy Greg, Bud Slots in the chat, when he's in, he is hosting a NSR Nationals prep race on Saturday on his track. So there's a bunch of guys here in Ohio that plan to make the trip up to the Nationals at Cloverleaf. And I know that Mike's not in, but Mike Stott is that owns Cloverleaf is actually hosting that. And this year they're doing it on 2 mirrored scale auto plastic tracks instead of the wood track. And that's so that they can actually get the race done quicker. It was a long weekend, and they ran 3 different classes. And so I think that their plan is to be able to run both classes simultaneously this way, so they can actually try to run it in one day. So, Josh, that's I need to talk to Dusty. I don't know what his plans are. We talked about it earlier in the week, during the weekend, and we weren't sure. So that's my plan. I'm hoping to. I'd like to get down at least for a little bit of it, just to have some fun. And it's been a while since we've actually raced. We've done a lot of testing and tuning on the track, but we've not really done a lot of racing. Yeah, Dave, I think so too. I think it would be a great class for this. This is a fun layout, especially for that size car. It'll be good side-by-side racing. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Yeah, George says that the midgets are 1/20th scale, which are perfect on his wood track. I had a lot of questions about Harry's wood track, George's wood track over the last couple months. I've got the itch to try to maybe build one, but I don't know. I've got a lot of ideas. Sometimes it's tough to get them all in. So I think the proxy race is probably ahead of building a wood track, but we'll see. Nice. They usually go up to that race. I would say they have a pretty good crowd. I know that that the slot at Nationals, they've cut off at 75 racers, mainly because I think you get any more than that, it's probably a long event for everyone, especially the guys that are running the event. Audie Scarborough says the fly cars sound good. They got 4. Nice. Yeah, I think it would be fun. It'd be fun to do a fly. We could do just a regular fly, just get your fly tuned up as best you can. But I think that it would be fun to have some scratch building part of the proxy. And so we could do 2 classes, the Revo slots as is, come up with good rules that's fair for everyone, and then do a scratch build with the fly cars. I think that'd be a good time. Fly builds are fun. They are fun. They take a little bit of work. Usually you can't throw the fly car on the track and expect it to do really well. Usually that takes a little bit of work. But all right, guys, it is 11:30 Eastern. I am going to call it quits. We've been at this an hour. I'm going to hit the bed. I got to get up early, go pick up the dogs from the kennel, pick up Finn and Gus, and so I'm gonna go get some sleep. But I just couldn't miss out. I could go another week without a live stream. I didn't post a video this past weekend, mainly just because I needed some time off. I felt like it was important to get some rest. But man, I feel good, and I think we're good to go. Hopefully the channel bounces back and everything goes well. But we'll see. Again, that's not really why we do it. We do it for this community and having fun and really enjoying just being a part of it. And man, it was so much, shout out again to the guys from Home Racing World, Harry and Dave and George and Dennis, and I'm trying to think who else raced this weekend. The guys behind the triggers, we appreciate it. Thanks for running the cars so great, and really enjoyed it. And hopefully you guys will go out there and have some fun racing. So we'll catch up with you soon. Next week will be same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday night. But those who, because I was a little late, they got to join us that maybe don't normally get to join us. It was great to have you. Thanks for joining in, and go have some fun racing.